Absolutely.
Our next testimony is from Tammi Bontrager. So Tammi, go ahead and come on.
All
We'd
right,
love to hear what
thanks
you have
so
to say.
much for having me. This is one of my favorite soul products, and I know that I say that about a lot of them, but this is one that has affected my family, and I'm so forever grateful for NeuroIM. It's really been about 15 years ago. My dad was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and his whole mother's side of the family had it. I think there were like 9 kids or something like that. And like all of them ended up having Alzheimer's. And so when he was diagnosed with it, it was kind of one of those, okay, where we know where this is going. But so it was hard to, manage that. But the neurologist did say that it looked like his was kind of a slow progressing, which was awesome. And so he had, pretty much lived in a state of frustration and a lot of confusion just because he couldn't remember things. And he would tell you, it's like, oh, I just can't remember anything. My memory's just not very good. And it's like, yeah, we know. And but anyway, he didn't really seem like he was progressing very rapidly. So we were thankful for that. Well, going back to a couple of years ago when we were at Snowbird, and I think it was Snowbird when NeuroIM was introduced, and I was so thankful, and I couldn't wait to get him on that. And so I asked him if he would start taking it daily. And he's like, well, if I can remember to take it, I will. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll get you something going so that you'll have that every day. And I said, would you do a favor for me and just try and write down how you're feeling, like if your brain feels any different, if you feel any different. And he's like, well, if I can remember to do that, I will. And I said, okay. So I would touch base with him every so often and say, how's it going? And I said, are you taking your pills? And he said, well, I think so. And he had been, because mom would put him in his little pill case every day. And I'd say, do you feel any different? And are you noticing anything different? No, I don't think I can tell anything. Okay, so fast forward several months, and mom said that she could really tell a difference in his memory and just his attitude and recall and stuff like that. Well, then he had run out, and she's like, order more. They definitely are making a difference. And so I got him back on them. And then, so he had been on them a couple years, and one of his last neurology appointments, the doctor told him, you are doing so well and so fantastic that I'm almost tempted to downgrade your diagnosis of Alzheimer's to age-related dementia, which was huge. I think that he is getting worse. He definitely is, he won't remember a conversation just, right after you have it, but he still remembers all of us, and he's doing really well, all things considered, because he's had it for so long. But I just find it fascinating that, and now he will ask my mom, he'll say, well, I think I need my brain pills. And that's what he calls them. So we always call him his brain pills. And so we're thrilled. I love it for that. And then I was just supposed to talk about that, but just real quick, I would love to say that my daughter-in-law has had so many concussions and has had migraines and headaches for several years. She had been on trying to get medication that wouldn't work, and she'd just been doing tons of different things. And she has been on neuro, and really it's about one of the only things that has really helped lessen the severity of her migraines. So yay, NeuroIM.
Tammi, both of those are just amazing. And I think we're all thinking about our loved ones and people we know that are like, oh, who could we share this with? So I love that you shared both of those. What a great thing for all of us to be able to take that knowledge and be able to share, because that's what we're here to do, is share our knowledge. So thank you so much, Tammi.
You're welcome.